Welcome to March, the Omaha Linux Users Group meeting. Step back. I am John Larson. I'm a systems engineer here at AIM. A couple things. I don't know how many people here have heard about Infotech. Hey, all right. Well, that's coming up next month. So,
what's the special news we're supposed to wait for?
Special news?
Yes. Yeah. Last month you said there'd be a special announcement this month, so I didn't purchase my ticket.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't your elbow, right?
No. that wasn't pre-planning for that. But I'm afraid I can't tell you the special announcement.
What? You're killing me.
I wasn't supposed to be the one to tell you this special announcement.
Who was? Who got hurt?
My events team, who was going to be here tonight. I didn't want to say anything once recorded on the video, so. But you forced me.
Good.
Well, anyway, visit the website at infotech.org. The keynote person has been announced, and there's all sorts of great tracks and everything. I may actually be giving a talk. Who knows? We'll see if time allows it. In my neck of the woods, I'm actually starting to teach a Linux class on Thursday night at Iowa Western. So that's kind of interesting. You might know some of those people.
I do.
Yeah. Let's see. Aric.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about FreeNAS tonight, right?
Yep.
Sweet.
Nassalicious.
So I will try to get all of the frame. So that sounds pretty good. Take it away, Aric.
Okay. I'm Aric Aasgaard, and I'm talking about FreeNAS. FreeNAS is on FreeBSD. It's a Unix-like open source general purpose operating system. Unlike the Linux kernel, FreeBSD is maintained as a complete OS. It's very similar to Linux. From the interface, the main difference is it uses like EE instead of nano. Because for FreeNAS purposes, you're probably only going to go in there, just edit configuration files and stuff. So it's pretty simple. It uses ZFS for its file system. ZFS is kind of like if you combine the MD, LVM, ext4 that Linux uses in one. It kind of makes kind of like what ZFS does, because ZFS brings those components together. The VDEV in ZFS is like the the device juggler. It makes the virtual device out of the physical drives, which is similar to the PD and LVM. The
Multi-disk.
Right, multi-disk, physical volume. Zpool is basically kind of like the volume group in LVM, where it takes the physical disks and puts them together, expands them together to become a vault, like a data set. Well, not data set, but it puts them together. The important thing to remember about that is it doesn't make them redundant. If you take a bunch of VDEVs and put them together into a Zpool, it doesn't make it a redundant set. So if you lose one of your VDEVs, it will wipe out the whole. So make your VDEVs, that's where you want to do your RAID and whatnot, your redundancy. A Z volume is kind of like the logical volume in LVM, and that's makes like a virtual block devices for that purpose. Usually you're going to use that for like Aasgaard. That's probably about the only thing I could think of using a Z volume for. I mean, there might be other reasons, but that's about all I would use it for. And a data set sits in there, in the Zpool as it's kind of like a folder. I'd say it's like a container for your volumes, and it works like a file system. So when you don't have to define size or anything. It just takes your pool, and you just say, hey, I want a data set in that pool, and you can use that for whatever purpose you want.
Can I ask a question on ZFS real quick?
This link. This link is a pretty good slideshow explaining this in much more detail.
Do you have an opinion on ECC versus non-ECC for ZFS?
Definitely ECC. I'll get to that.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad.
Oh, I have a question. Why didn't you mention RAID?
Okay, well, I should. RAID is basically kind of like the software RAID of ZFS. It's kind of like your multi-disk. It's software RAID. There's different levels you can have. They say you want to have use RAID Z2 or Z3 to have multiple redundancies. It's kind of like RAID Z2 is like the equivalent would be RAID 6. It's just scraping across the drives. There's a process in there where you scrub the pool, and it's very similar, in my opinion, to like when you do a verify on a RAID controller. It goes and checks all the CRCs of the stripes and fixes any problems with it. And a problem with that is that if you don't use ECC memory and you have a memory problem, when you run a scrub, it takes what's in that memory and writes it to the volume. So you could wipe out a volume if you don't have if your memory has errors in it, which is kind of a serious issue. So if you're using it for anything important, definitely use ECC memory. Definitely, I do. The system requirement is at least 8 gigs of RAM. You don't want to try it without ZFS without it. Basically, it uses the memory for everything. I believe it sort of like writes it back to itself. So you're using that for everything. You want to have a good NIC. You don't want to just use like the Realtek that's in your desktop system. You'll have like extremely poor performance with that. I know the Intel ones I've used and the Broadcom ones and the PowerEdge, they work pretty well.
Could you say pretty much any Intel then?
Any
of the good gigabit
you can get those the dual PCIe ones off of eBay for like $20. So there's no point in using a bad NIC.
And you still get the Pro desktop.
Yeah, don't get a desktop, don't get a decent server. And they're not expensive. They're $20 anyway. You can attach it to the network just about most ways. I mean, it can connect to, it's designed to just use as storage for computer systems. So you can use it for Apple, which I can run closely.
It does.
Okay. Web dev, Windows, like Samba. It connects pretty well. I did some testing, and I did a bonded. I don't have gigabit NICs to test with. I will eventually increasingly have some 10 gigs to play with, but it would run one of the Windows shares. It would max out. I had to run 2 simultaneous streams, but it would completely max out the NIC, and on any configuration I use other than. Well, okay.
Are you just copying bulk data? Is that what you're copying?
Copying it, or most of the tests, like I ran some IOPS tests and whatnot, and it really, the NIC was definitely like the bottleneck. The only time I ran into one where I tried 3 different, I set up 3 Dell C1100s with their like dual hex cores with 72 gigs of RAM. And I ran one directly plugged into the hard drives, just using the onboard, like no hardware array. And I ran one on a FreeWare 9650. And I did that using the just hardware array. So I used the actual card for that. And then I wanted to test it on the FreeWare card with like doing JBOD. I found out if you use the FreeWare card in the JBOD mode, it runs like garbage, like complete stuff. But you can fix that by, you don't use the JBOD mode, you have to make individual RAID 0 drives.
Oh, so they're all sliced up into them outside.
It doesn't use the cache.
It's called single disk.
Yeah, it still wasn't that great. It was better. The best performance I got was out using the card with the cache, just in hardware RAID. The second best was right from the board itself. I'll try it with other configurations. That's what I got so far.
These SATA drives or?
I used the SATA drives. I used Constellation ES3 2 terabyte drives. I put 4 in each year.
Figured you got that performance. That's exactly what I wanted.
Really? I mean, well, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. It was just like running it. It was probably. It wasn't even really any better than the onboard one. I don't know.
You see, I got opposite results when I ran it in Make 5.
I'm not using. I mean, most of this was just like the network testing, so it could be because it wasn't super scientific. I was just, seeing if it would work well. And it could have been that, I don't know if it does a RAID build or anything when doing single drives. I know that was one of the problems I had. Another problem I had was the RAID control you want to have definitely in the right back. For some reason, it thinks the battery's dead because it's worried about like a vital or something. You need to make sure the battery's charged, or you really risk and turn it off and just make it into the right back. If it's not anything super important, if you use a UPS on the system, probably not good. Okay, the next cool thing about it is it does, like on the web interface, it does jails. And jail is basically kind of like a partition on the operating system where it, you can put a full operating system on or do whatever you want to with it, but it doesn't make a new kernel. Some examples of things that you can do with this is you can install VirtualBox in one of these jails, and then you can have, it comes with the VirtualBox Manager, like a web interface for it, which is really kind of cool if you just need to run something really simple. It has lots of plugins. And basically what these do is it just makes a new jail, and it downloads like a pre-built computer system into that jail. For example, there's two on here that I use. I use OwnCloud and Plex Media Server. OwnCloud is, it allows you to, like, for example, if you use like your cell phone and you take a picture and it automatically saves a picture to the cloud, or saves videos or whatever, you can have that automatically then send it to your home server, which is really cool because I would rather have it, on my as a home than somewhere, that I have to control it. Plex Media Server is really cool. It's a good place to store all your movies. There's a lot more you can do with it.
Your jail need to be on a separate data set, or you can just...
Yes, you make a data set for it.
Okay.
And when you build a plugin,
I got a couple, but I've never done anything with the jail, because it always says, well, where do you want to store your file to make your jail? And where
you
do you
just
want
build-
to put your jail? And it's always like, eh.
If you don't specify it, it'll do it automatically.
yeah,
Whatever volume is available.
it basically it just makes a new data set, and it does do it automatically. And this doesn't really, you don't have to really do anything. It just makes a little container. You delete it. And, trying to think what else would be a good thing to show.
Is your array right here? Or is
This is at my house. I just log into it. Like I've got on here, I've got this is just a web server. That's my own cloud. That's my Flex Media server. You can see like OwnCloud just builds. Something like this.
It's pretty neat.
So if
I really like OwnCloud. I've been messing with it lately. The fact that you can have like OwnClouds talk to other OwnClouds,
Yeah.
distributed.
And it improved a lot. It used to be pretty bad when it came out.
Yeah.
it's been
Fixed it a lot.
through a really rapid development. So Plex is nice that way too. You can share your Plex server with others too. If you want.
I don't know.
I just did an experiment today. I installed a new Fedora workstation. And one of the questions it asks when you log in is, do you have OwnCloud? Do you want to sync with it?
Set it up. Well, I'll check back later.
Don't you have to change the sort order?
Oh, that could be it. Yeah.
3.3.
Yep.
I don't know why it was backwards.
Take my shiny head.
What's that? Hello.
Shiny, fuzzy.
It was kind of, I think that's a pretty cool feature. I also use Plex. What's nice about it is it's really easy. You just click install plugins and then configure your, and this works like Plex. I mean, it's pretty cool.
And there's players for everything.
Everything.
Roku has a really good player for it.
And it automatically figures out what your shows.
So if you already have Amazon Prime, does it help you with that?
No, because you have to actually have the file.
Well, there is,
If you're into,
there's channels.
yeah, you
I don't know, you can basically subscribe to channels. I don't know if there's one for Amazon or not.
there used to be one, but we stopped developing for it.
Either that or they've switched over from Flash to something else.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to store your movies because you can get them however you want. And
So if there's an upgrade sync for OwnCloud, do you upgrade that through the plugin or how does it work?
oh, it's just like its own computer.
So you upgrade OwnCloud manually or just from the plugin?
Let me show you. So for like upgrading, there's like it's like an upgrade button. Oh, another thing that's kind of a
Yeah, I was gonna say 8's out now.
yeah, it's a, but
When
one
the
thing
new
is
version rolls out, it's gonna be here then.
right.
Oh, that's great, okay.
You just click like it'll say like update and you click update.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, and there's one thing that there's a couple of places where you have to turn these on, and this is one of them. So you're like, oh, it should work, everything, because it's showing up in my jail's running and everything. But one time that I forgot that I didn't do it in here. you gotta make sure that the
Plugins
the
enabled.
plugin is on. Which
Especially
is-
after you add storage
Yeah.
for the jail, like if you have for the media server, if you don't restart it, then you're like,
One thing I did that was a little bit, that it's helpful, like when you're doing the, setting up a Plex, media server, one thing that's nice is you can share, you can make a data set and then share it with everything. So I made like a sys share and made it movies. And then I mounted that to the Plex server, and then that's the repository for the movies. So I can route, like drag and drop on my computer, or however I want to share it, and then that's the repository. So,
but it's nice because it segregates the data from one jail for another, even though you're sharing the data pool. And you don't strand data out there. You only need, half a terabyte of storage over here you're not using.
yeah, I could blow away the jail and then remount the movies directory,
Right.
or whatever.
But it doesn't happen with this, with FreeNAS. You don't have to worry about stranding storage somewhere, because you hard coded a large chunk of your data.
Yeah, it's all, and one thing that's nice, it does do on the fly compression. One thing that kind of scares me about it is I don't know exactly how it works. And like, I've broken like RAID 5, EXE3, and done my, like little thing where you've got to drive dead and then drop data. Where you can go in there and you can figure it out. Like I can go and say, okay, well, it's going to be this much from this drive, then it's going to be this much from this drive. And you can figure it out. I have no idea how this like works.
Like you have no idea how to re-tag it if it's
Well-
like it lost its configuration. Does the FreeNAS do a good job of storing the configuration for each RAID configuration right on every drive?
It's not doing it, CFS.
Yeah. So,
Well, but if,
In theory, it writes, we'll call it sort of like a single block data on all the drives. So if you inadvertently lose a C equals information, you should be able to recover it someplace else. But those are really cryptic commands.
Yeah,
And it only works if you run the Linux version of ZFS, it doesn't have those features. You don't have any.
That's because it's on top of the USD, because of like the functions. That's why it's only limited.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're way behind
Yeah.
traditional ones, but
They had to
This is
recommend
much
everything.
this is much more
I
current.
hate it when something is.
I just had to do
for
that.
political reasons.
That's why I know. I had a RAID seat.
Yeah.
I had a RAID card meltdown that
Not
like
Yeah.
screwed a bunch of stuff up. I was able to recover all of it.
Because it literally took
2 weeks.
it's like multiple terabytes.
Yeah, 36 terabytes.
yeah, so, right.
Do you snapshot very often? Do you use this?
I don't, but it's a cool feature. It's a really cool feature. One thing, you can also like sync up boxes, so you can use like rsync. Like let's say I had 2 locations, I could rsync them together. You can use it. I mean, you can even hook up. No, this is probably bad for this audience, but you can plug this into Active Directory and use like Windows. I know, right? you can set the file system to use really any Windows permissions if you want.
Sure.
So you can use it and plug into your Active Directory.
So like, if you're logged into your Windows PC as, I don't know, aim/J Larson, you put in your Windows Active Directory password, you can set permissions on
Yes.
file share.
Yep, it'll look like it was on Windows Server.
So you don't have to like re-log into a Samba share.
No, it plugs into Active Directory. And it uses, okay, also okay, on a data set, you can set your permissions however you want to. Don't mix like Windows and Linux type permissions. Or, Unix and Windows file permissions is not good. I know you could kind of do that in like the old Samba versions, kind of make it so it was.
It's just about as exciting as Samba modding an NFS share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not really positive.
But you can, so what you would want to do is make a data set that was for your windows. And the thing is, you don't have to specify how big it is. It just uses up space from the pool. So it's, you make a little share and unless somebody abuses it or whatever, it's just going to be a share. It's kind of cool.
And you can set constraints on
You
it.
can, you can put quotas and all that stuff in here. There's a lot of cool things in here. You can do pretty much most of the stuff like that you would ever need to do in this GUI. Like for example, like the boot. Like you update, you can tell it which boot kernel. So you update it didn't work, you can switch it here. Well, anyway, but you can do networking. Like I set up my to set up my link aggregation. I did it all in the web viewer. I didn't have to do it. I just went here and here and then LICP and go.
Language work better in 3D.
It works good. You know, it can only do one, like they have two 1 gigabit connections. You're only going to get 1 gigabit per stream. So you're not going to get like a 2 gigabit stream, but you can connect. But I can connect to 2 different jails. Like I could get a full gigabit on one jail and a full gigabit on the other jail. Or somebody else, some other computer would get a full gigabit. You know, it uses the full bandwidth. Just you can't aggregate it into like a 1, 2 gigabit connection. At least I don't. I haven't. That sounds like a cool feature, but at the same time, it kind of scares me.
What was the question?
Have you played with dedupe? Deduplication regression. GFS has it built in.
Yeah, it does.
So is that at the ZFS level or the, not at the?
It's at the, yes, it's at the ZFS level, so it'll be under storage.
Yep.
So.
Just like your whatever you put on the bottom, which should be the options set for.
Oh, yeah. So here's a deduplication. You want, everything I've read says you want to have a pretty decent machine if you're running this. But it probably is good enough. I mean,
It actually works pretty well. For
So
certain things.
I saw 8 gig of memory and a industrial grade, professional grade NIC. How about CPU?
It's on.
Do you do antivirus on it for the Windows shares or?
no.
I run antivirus on the Windows boxes.
Yeah.
The machine that I'm running on is a single core.
Okay.
It's dual processor. That's fine.
I have this running.
Are you sure it doesn't need the processor from the enterprise?
This is running on a 2950. It's got, I think, 2 dual core 3 gigahertz Xeons and 16 gigs of RAM. And the thing is, they're cheap now. They're not that expensive. The only thing you're really worried about is like worried about electricity costs. But
If you have 2 power supplies.
it does.
Okay.
But
The more memory you have, the better off.
yeah, and it really,
Is it kept in another part of the house?
yeah, it's my basement.
Or all good servers should.
Right.
Yes. I can still hear my.
I learned a new 3-letter acronym this week. It's called WAF.
Wife acceptance
Wife.
factor.
The Wife Acceptance Factor.
Oh, it's web application firewall.
As far as your
Same
wife
thing.
goes, not in my house.
Okay, so yeah, you just do it on when you make a new one. You just say I want
You want to
you want to put the dedupe on it.
You can set it for everything, and then by inheritance.
Right.
If you set it at a high level, then it'll inherit it.
And I did do a little
It's not
bit
recommended.
of testing with the compression, and it really doesn't seem to affect performance at all.
Not that, the LZ4 doesn't, but you can
Yeah.
crank that up and it will definitely. Like a performance hit.
Well, for like a dedupe, or what do you mean?
No, just if you,
Tune that was
under heavy
Oh,
load,
yeah.
you will take a definite performance hit.
Yeah.
Because basically you're buffering everything to memory.
I think it does that anyway. pretty
No,
much.
but I mean, that's what happens. It fills up your onboard memory and it starts to have to double the disk, well, then it has to compress it. So everything just dies. So if your files are larger than the amount of memory you have in your machine. it's
Yeah,
fine.
you just want to have a lot of memory, that's basically.
Can it do parallel, parallel compression? So I think, did you just say you had a single core?
The machine I'm running on is a dual processor, single core Xeon. It's really old. So it's like a 506 or whatever.
Be something in parallelization.
It runs, I mean, compression runs really well, modern processor.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it might even be faster because you're taking less time to read out the disk and it doesn't seem to at all slow down the process. I mean, it seems to be just as fast.
It's only about-
quiet for disk health. I get it once a week or so, I get something, it's at I can't even think what the error is, but it'll give you some kind of squawk in the error logs about, it emails you writes to this or, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be serious, but maybe you guys don't get anything in your email.
I have never seen that with me.
Yeah, I don't know. Try to think what else is kind of cool about it. With the jails, it's to access it. I mean, let's say if you want to see you can just go click here and you've got a console for that jail, which is kind of cool. And they're individual. I don't have one of the VirtualBox plugins installed, but that's really cool. You just click on jail and then add a jail. Okay, so what it does is then it goes and downloads the VirtualBox image, and then it just makes it. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Well, while it's doing that, let me see if I can test this out. But you guys have seen Flex before, right? Most of you guys have seen that. It works really well with Chromecast, which it might not work great here, but I think it works really well.
I guess it depends on how the Chromecast handles the URL. If it's getting passed from the phone and the Chromecast is pulling it, versus your phone has to take it and then cast it directly.
It goes from the Chromecast.
Okay.
So it's just basically telling the Chromecast to, it's working sweet.
You're pulling a video file from your home? Over the internet?
No, what this is remotely controlling the Chromecast. So this is telling the Chromecast to go to my Plex server and play
At home.
and play the
Spots.
It worked at my work when I tested this earlier.
On the bandwidth.
You know, the thing is, one thing that's nice about Plex is it automatically, it encodes on the fly. So it like, determines, says like, oh, if you're got a 2 megabit connection, it will encode it for that. So it figures out the best, encoding for your
Situation.
yeah. It's not connecting to the Chromecast. Very fast. Okay. Of course. It could be my firewall at home saying no. So anyway, and you can use it for iSCSI, which at work, what I do is I set up one of those Z volumes and I hook it to a Zen server, and it shows up just as like local storage to the Zen server, and then I back up to it from whatever, and then it's done. So I've got other backups too, but it's just nice to have a quick, easy backup to get to when you need it. Well, it's doing it on my phone, which is nice. It usually works. I think it's fine.
That Sky Captain.
Well, do you guys have any questions? Oh, another thing that you don't want to be careful when you install Plex, there's a checkbox that says, would you like to share your stuff from outside your network? If you check that, it gets rid of all the security on it. Don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, and there's people, I used,
You can probably search for open instances.
yeah, you can just pull up Showdown and say Plex, and you will find a Plex service.
Oh, okay.
This is Metasploit's thing, isn't it?
This is like a really dumb way to program something, isn't it?
Well, if you check, you can go back and fix it. Yeah, I did it the first time I did it, because it seemed logical, but it looks like a default, like, oh, share it with the world. And yeah, so I had to go back and edit the config file and restart it. It was fine. But if you don't, you will get, let's see. Well, the last one I saw was like in the region.
You'll end up on the list. And then everybody can watch everything you have on your, keep it clean.
Here comes YouTube.
Well, yeah, it's sort of not that, it's really a problem with it.
Who needs this content?
I just downloaded 500.
Yeah, that's what this guy's got.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to add to log in.
Hey, what network are you on right now?
I thought it was on.
I meant that one.
Oh, that one is not on. That one's on the Exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on.
I don't want to, connect to somebody else's from my network.
Right. Okay.
Why is somebody from this business
Okay. Let me see this.
stealing my videos?
I have it.
But it came up on your Chromecast.
It did.
That's me screwing with it.
Oh.
That's just me.
That's you.
Oh, it's okay for you to do.
I wanted to make sure his Chromecast was working.
Oh, here's one. Yeah, this is somebody else's. This is the shared network, right?
Well,
It's 32,400 speed. this is what happens if you don't, if you check that box.
And then you can't figure out why your servers are
Yeah, because everybody is connected to it.
sweet.
The BSDs have pretty good, they have like a lot of built-in TC stuff, traffic control.
Right, yeah, they do, but not if you tell everybody you can use it.
But I mean, you can say, look, if it comes out and over this IP address, assuming you have like a dedicated public IP for it, couldn't you traffic shake that?
You can do all kinds of neat stuff. One thing, there's, somebody's making this project that I'm gonna have to try called Finch. And it's basically, they'll take FreeNAS and PFSense, and they'll put, you can take PFSense and put FreeNAS in jail in it, which I think would be the awesomest solution. Or if you just had a single box colo, like I want to put one server and a data center, I could put, PFSense with FreeNAS in a jail, then I can just do everything. I can handle all of my IPs, jail, everything. Nice. For one box, But the PFSense guys don't have anything to do with
Is
it.
that Justin Bieber?
What?
17 again?
No, Zach.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not anything.
Hey now.
It's this guy's for all things porn.
It's your laptop.
Yes. On your
Okay,
network.
Windows is safe.
It's gonna take an hour to buffer the movie though. That's the problem.
No, it doesn't, yeah, it's just, I'm poor decision making.
I found this too.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, anyway. That's about it. There's, like in those plugins, there's other things like.
What, I mean, is there different, I mean, the last time I had used FreeNAS, it was like, I don't know, it seemed like it was on a floppy. All it was just a very, command line version.
Right.
And now it's
For
a,
years.
There's, how the official way you're supposed to do it is put it on a USB stick so that it's, your FreeNAS is separate from your array. How I do it at work and stuff is I make a virtual drive built out from the disk. So with the Aric 6s and the Uber cards, you make just a virtual bootable drive out of your array. And then I say that is going to be an install FreeNAS.
It works either way.
Either way.
but I mean, now it's, all this virtual box stuff,
Yeah.
that all comes with it,
Yes.
so.
No, you have to download it.
Well,
You have to download the image.
you click the button and it does it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are prepared images, basically. You can make your own images and make your own jails too if you want.
I
Yeah.
suppose that you have to have a big
Okay, so-
USB stick.
No, it actually puts it on the drive array. It doesn't put it on the USB stick for that. That never gets written to. It just boots from that.
The config's stored on the array.
So it's like your slash boot, it's in the Linux system.
So, okay, so here's the virtual
The
box.
nice thing about using a USB stick, if you ever go to upgrade it, there was a release not too long ago that if you upgraded your FreeNAS box, it would ruin your install. Well,
Yeah.
everybody figured out, we just clone your USB stick and then do the update. So if you screw it up, you don't
Yep.
go back to a working.
Yeah, you can, take the USB stick out and use like whatever cloning software for USB sticks. I use just like a Windows one for free. I tried it. Yeah, DD would probably work.
Yeah, so it's an ISO hybrid? You don't have to,
I don't look file systems. Actually, I've never looked at that.
And also on the USB stick, doesn't it split it into two partitions? So you've got a primary and a shadow to boot from, so you boot it, you can do an upgrade. If it doesn't work, you can reboot it, hit F1 or hit F2 and turn around and boot back to the prior partitions.
I think that's a recent change, isn't it?
I've been doing this since like 9.1 maybe.
Oh,
I think is the current 93. I don't know.
yeah,
Yes.
93. It was the going from, the previous major release, that was the problem.
Okay, yeah, what it was, and did it jump from 7 to?
Yeah, it's always an odd
Changed
number.
from 7 to 8, and then,
Yeah, but the 8 release is a development cycle release, so it's the most re-release.
This may break your computer, so be careful, Rudy.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it is.
I've been using this for, right when the first 9 release came out, I think. I used it before that, but then got disenfranchised pretty quickly because of the.
The default is admin,
Admin.
not root.
Default. Well, thank you. So here's
sure,
your,
is that yours or is that the other guy's place?
no, it's not. So basically if I want, I don't have a lot of space. but- So you just pick a new one, text, pick your operating system, save one, 32-bit.
Let's look at OS 2.
This one's probably
And you
made
just say
something
what,
like that.
what type of image, you know, VDI.
It uses Microsoft's format now?
You can use whatever you want.
Is that the default?
VDI, that's a VirtualBox default. It's VirtualBox.
Oh, that's right. VHD is the Microsoft one.
VHD's Microsoft. It doesn't matter, it's just a file, so it's,
Well,
and then, got a deviant box on it now.
can you show us the metrics that you were measuring? Is that something you can show us?
Oh, my casting of the speeds. I did. For example, this one, I used IOZone. Here's like the writer, the array. I mean, so it looks cool. So there's the writes on the RAID one. Looks like that. This is with the hardware RAID. This one's the without anything to the forward. So there's,
Dumb question is, record size the same as file, block size in Linux? ZFS?
what do you mean like record size?
So your third row says
Not
the
run these record sizes, so that is called this file size.
Right.
It is a record size. Do we in the Linux plane know that as block size? Or what is that? What is record size?
Well, it's not, I'm not really using the block, so it's
Okay,
using, I guess I am, but
Using IOS more.
yeah.
But ZFS doesn't have concept of blocks. Well, it does.
Well, if you call it as a, like, I don't know if this chunk, it probably looks as just a chunk of what you're asking for.
There's a minimum block size. ZFS.
This is a snapshot system. What is record size?
That's like, that would be like the size of data you're calling. I mean,
Yeah, I think
this top thing is probably be like your file size and block size, yeah. That's what it looks like. That would be your blocks.
Now the block size.
I mean, maybe it's just how much you're reading at a time. I'm just wondering if it's a low layer and like the block size of Linux, or is it, I wrote a C program, I'm gonna open up and seek out 4 bytes, 8 bytes, up to 16 bytes.
Well, this program, it's supposed to, doesn't it like, it's supposed to emulate like a database environment. So it tries to do a whole bunch of things at once. So it's probably,
Multiple block sizes, file sizes.
What was that?
okay,
It's just, it combines it, writes as different block sizes and file sizes. And then keep track of how long it takes to write that down. Basically.
And so it really has nothing to do with the underlying formatting of the hard drive or the,
Yeah, actually it can.
but I mean, that
Cache
record
size.
size is not.
no, just because,
Could if you formatted your drive with an odd block size.
a lot of times you'll see
I
like
should
stripe
say
size and
If
cache.
you rate this out of like
A different
a
stripe.
really small block size, if you're writing really big chunks, it slows things down.
Yeah.
Or opposite, really big block for chunk sizes, and you're writing really small files, well, that would really slow things down too, so.
Right, you notice it like on stripe size, because like, your biggest drive, you're writing all like a whole bunch of stuff to one drive. So I guess it doesn't really matter because you're writing caching. So in reality, this doesn't really matter that much because it's all of it's coming from memory. Like all of these tests are coming from pretty much the RAM of the systems.
You're supposed, when you run IOs on, you're supposed to basically set it to the maximum file size to double what the memory is, so that you don't have that problem.
Right.
So I think,
But I was just doing it over like a network share and
yeah,
I know, I was trying to see how it would work over, I was kind of trying to simulate how it would work in a situation where you're connecting the system and using it as like a database through a share. So I was trying to basically see like its network performance to see how it would compare to like, a local drive. And it seemed like it was really good. I mean, I didn't hit any of its limitations because I don't have to do it.
you should try bonding with this.
Mine is Bond. It's got two.
So
Oh, Bonnie. Yeah, I know like Bonnie.
instead of IOZone, it doesn't.
Yeah, I tried Bonnie as well. I'll get back to you guys when I have some better results on with some 10 gig units. They're actually sitting at FedEx right now.
Oh, I have a question. Since ZFS and Linux is not comparable to FreeBSD, have you tried BetterFS to see how it performs compared to ZFS?
What do you mean? Like Linux file system versus CFS?
Yeah, for performance.
On the same hardware, that would be
Yeah. Because ZFS and Linux is not the same.
right.
Yeah.
ButterFS.
Yeah, so ButterFS is comparable. So do it like that, doing it like this with ButterFS at the same time and see how
It's kind of apples and oranges though. but-
I don't know. I like it because it's simple to use. I click a button, it works. I mean, yeah. I mean, it does a really good job too. It's not like it's just,
This IO is up, is it a Windows program?
oh, IOZone, I ran this on Windows actually, yeah. And I was using it as a share. I was just trying to see how it worked, because in the environment I'm using it is going to be Windows desktops using it. Or actually, most likely it's going to be from a virtual environment, reading the drives. So, I mean, I was just kind of trying to see, you know, where it was at, what the differences were in different RAID setups. I mean, really didn't seem to matter a whole lot.
If you really want to speed this up, the best thing to do is put more memory in your box. Is LARC, which is cap. The next thing to do would be to add SSDs, one for the ZIL and one for the LRC2, which basically one's an intent log, the CFS intent log, the other one's caching. One's set up for reading and one's set up for writing. So you're using an SSD to cache the stuff. It's a dramatic difference in CFS.
It works kind of like a transactional database. Like your ZIL is like your log file, like your SQL log file. So it logs as it's writing, so that it keeps the transactions. So then it treats almost like your RAM as like your cache. I mean your drive, your hard drive, and then it writes that. I don't know.
It's
neither one.
tremendously cheaper than adding.
They say
gigs of
don't.
RAM and add an SSD.
They say not to do that though. I mean, like they say not to put like unless you have over 64 gigs of RAM, don't bother with the ARC2.
Right.
And they say don't have an ARC2, like your SSD, don't make that bigger than like 5 times the size of your RAM.
Exactly.
And then don't, unless you're really going crazy. I mean, if you're doing a lot of like little transactions with database stuff, I think the ZIL would be a lot
It makes
different.
a huge difference with small file.
Right.
I wonder what kind of drive you would. I mean, our SSD drives usually don't last a year.
Usually.
Yeah, there was PCIe cards and
Yeah.
The other thing they say is don't fill the disks more than 60 to 70%.
Right.
Percent full.
Because
Then you start running into interesting issues with performance on CFS. So,
yeah, but I don't know if that matters if you're using hardware right now.
yeah, it has everything to do about the silver and scans that you're doing on that. It's moving data around, usually when it's scanning the drive. Unbeknownst to you.
Oh, most important question. If you do have a drive that's going bad, does it alert you?
It does.
You can set it up to,
I mean, you don't have to set that up?
It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't do it like right away. So I think it does it like on like a job or something. It checks the.
Go over the bottom of the screen. There's actually an alert spot right there.
Yeah.
Where it says FreeNAS, in that space, it will give you alerts in there. But you can set it up to send email alerts.
There's the smart box right there.
I think there's an icon up in the very top of the screen too.
Oh yeah, there's a
yellow
smart thing.
Yeah, set that up. But in the black, right where it says FreeNAS at the bottom there, that actually, that's a dialog. It will give you.
Yeah, it's like a terminal.
Oh yeah. Oh, it goes up here.
Terminal.
It's kind of like
It
in
does it at the top.
in PSNs, it shows you if there's a problem. It shows you right at the top. But you're not going to look at this through that.
No.
So you need to have it set up so that it alerts you. I have mine set up where it does it on the RAID card, so the RAID driver does it. So it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Because chances are it'll probably catch it there first. Before it gets to the file.
Can you show us how you did that?
Little perk card too.
That's in the Dell tree card.
Yeah, the Dell perk card. I don't know if I have the ones that work there. You use
The
the,
9500.
the 9650 too.
Well, the 9650. Dell tree.
I use 9650. And they're great. They've got like a nice little web interface where you set up. So it sends me a text message if the array is going bad. which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is, that's kind of one of the benefits. I think the one thing that might like kind of push me towards wanting to use hardware rated versus not was just because I have something that alerts me when if there's a problem right away. I don't know that I haven't used this enough. It probably works, but I guess they say it takes a little bit of time for it to find it and tell you about it. Probably does it like on a scrub or something. I don't know.
When it does the scrub, you can set up to alert you if there's an issue. If you run RAID, like RAID C3, you can lose 3 drivers. You'll start to notice performance problems.
Right. If there's anything else that's really important.
Sure to get through all your stuff.
Parity.
I think so. Pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty much just that.
ZFS is nice because the one thing that protects you from is bedrock. The normal RAID stuff will not.
Yeah, how does, okay, when you do a verify on your RAID card, isn't that doing this about the same thing as a scrub?
No, because it's not looking at the data, it's just looking at the architecture of the drive. It doesn't look at the actual files.
It doesn't do a check on each, comparing the CRC data. I thought it did. Why does it take like a day?
It's not looking at the actual data, it's looking at the architecture of the drive. Whereas ZFS integrates all that all together.
Okay.
So that it's actually doing the equivalent of a FSCK on file system continuously. But, you know,
I don't know, it works. I don't really, I haven't had any problems with it. I'm using it quite for a while, just as backups at work. I just kind of started playing with it at home in the last, like, since the summer. So.
And this is certainly, I mean, everything you've described is the exact same as like somebody buying a Synology box. It's all like the same thing.
And I'm really impressed with how fast it is. Like just how, like, I don't know, it feels like it's a local drive. Even, and I don't have 10 gig users.
enough disks. We got a box that we're running this on 10 gigabit, almost saturated at 36 disks.
This only has 5.
And 6 of them were SSDs.
Yeah, I would assume that's the case. The thing is, you're reading and writing from RAM. So
It had 24 gig of memory. But it had 3 SSDs using Brazil. And all that. So it is fast. And it's easy to set up.
yeah, it's easy, works great. I like that I can just have a Plex server by clicking a button, and I can do, it seems to be fast storage. And it's a great way to repurpose like an old 2950. I mean, say they're cheap.
What's cheap?
You guys have you looked at one of those lately? I think the
Vintage is 2950. What,
2950 is kind of like
7 years
a,
ago, I think?
They're dual.
it's like a Core 2 version of a Xeon.
They're dual core, right?
Dual
core
core, yes.
processor.
Yeah, the Gen 3s are quads. DDR2, but they seem to work well. It has a 6 drive bay, and which is probably okay for like home use or whatever, and for backing up some. But yeah, it's not local, they're cheap. But I would just check just for SMGs. Actually, I don't even know that I would buy one if it wasn't free. Yeah, 100, 200.
More for sure.
Yeah.
There you go. was the best offer.
But you could probably get one for.
There's a whole stack.
Yeah.
Are they loud?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, literally.
They're not, they're quieter than those C1100s.
Okay, in my server noise experience, they are on the quieter end.
Yeah. But they're kind of, I mean, I wouldn't pay more than $100 for one. Right here, there's one, buy it now, $68.
Yeah, they're gonna pay shipping now.
Which would be like $100.
So it's $100. So it's $100.
43.25.
So it's probably cheaper than buying a, you know, a pre-built DAS box, and it's probably significantly better.
Because I'm sure it was the
I think the FreeNAS minis that they sell, you can buy them pre-built from IX Systems or whatever you can out.
Yeah.
They're like $1,100-$1,200.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you can get like, I mean, you can get other servers. That was just an example because that's what I had at work that we were using. But yeah, they're not. I think like what I bought, I just bought a C6100 for $499, and that's like 4 servers that are better than those all in one box. But that's about it. So, yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
If anybody is curious, the Kansas Linux Fest is coming up on March 21st and 22nd at the Lawrence Public Library in Lawrence, Kansas. I believe that one of the individuals is on the list. He might have mentioned it, he may not have. But I figured I'd mention it for him on here. In case somebody's curious. Lawrence is only what, about 2.5, 3 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours. So that might be nice. Keep an eye on that. I don't have anything scheduled yet for next month. If anybody would like to present. I'm going to be a little busy at the time, so no, I won't be able to. Maybe if we keep talking, maybe Aaron
Or if you convince him to get some.
He's probably here somewhere. On the front of the place downstairs, they are resurfacing the floor right now. They went down to the original floor. It's terrazzo tile. So
I don't know what terrazzo tile is.
it's like a flex kind of thing.
Oh, like high school floor?
Kind of. Looks like it has chunks of glass in it almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
It looked pretty good before they even started to work on the surface. So, they have some woodwork up where the bar is. The guy like built it in his garage himself. It looks really good. Even down to these swirly wood parts that are on it. So I was in there yesterday and it looks pretty good for being a big empty room. So maybe April, later April, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, it'll be up that scale. So should be a nice experience. Well, that is it.
What?
Yes. Are you having a Maker Faire event?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Dave, we'll talk about Maker.
Okay. So we've received our license from Make Magazine, and we will be having the second annual Omaha Maker Faire, September 19th, I believe, at the Omaha Children's Museum. Please do not be discouraged by the fact that this is at the Omaha Children's Museum. This is an all-ages event, and most of our makers last time were not
anywhere remotely children. We had about 30 people last year. We're hoping for 50 people this year. We're hoping for some presentations. I'm looking around this room for people who might be doing computer hobbyist kind of things at home and might be interested in presenting. So,
Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi.
Sam's gonna present.
So the call for makers will be out on the website, which is omahamakerfair.com, probably towards the end of this month. If you have any questions, hit me up. I have not been active on the OLUG list, partially because I haven't wanted to deal with a email problem on my Fedora desktop, but I'm hoping to tackle that in the next 2 weeks. And yeah.
Get mail.
Get mail. So, if you have any questions?
Well, when we have presentations, my brother likes playing with his Raspberry Pi a lot lately, so I could tell him.
If he's got something, you know, I've seen people do just about anything with that.
What he's focusing on right now is making an all-in-one computer, just monitor where he remove the USB ports and he's gonna put the Raspberry Pi there. So that's his main focus right now, but he doesn't know what he's gonna do with it later. But
well,
I can tell him to start working on projects.
Yeah, if he's got a project. So, you know, the exhibits we had last year were anything from, we had a guy who was steaming and bending his own wood and building his own canoes. We had people binding their own books. We had people who had remote controlled lawnmowers. We had people who were doing, with the Lincoln Lego group, which was a lot of fun. And they're going to be there. They're committed to be there again this year. So we've all kinds of people and all kinds of stuff, but we didn't have any presentations last year. So if nobody else comes up with a Raspberry Pi presentation, I probably will try and do it. Anything on robotics, anything on Arduino, any kind of stuff like that.
Did you say September 9th?
September 19th. And for you football fans in the crowd, we're hoping that that's definitely an away game. It's the Miami game, and we're hoping it's a night game. Cool. So,
Thanks.
all right.
Thanks for watching at home.
We got this one you.